Daniel, really nice to see you again. How have you been since KAIROS 2?
Glad to be back. Glad to be back. Right now, I'm very tired. We just had a high intensity training week, and it's Friday afternoon as we're recording this. So I almost forgot about the the recording. I was just
We are here.
completely exhausted. But other than that, I'm very good. The gym is going well. I'm healthy, and I can't complain.
Good. So you're up on the under 66 kg male pro division for the new KAIROS 3, which is happening on the 16th of November. So it'll be fantastic to have you back in the UK. How are you feeling about the upcoming KAIROS 3 to start with, and then we'll backtrack a little?
Very excited. Can't wait. Last time I had a really good time. Was very nice to visit Cambridge, and get some training in as well. So really excited to be back, and the event was very nice to us. They treated the athletes really well, so
Yeah.
can't wait to come back.
It was really good, actually, when you and Tommy hosted the seminar the day before. And I'm hoping maybe something like that will be happening again, just to kind of gain some experience and learn from pro athletes for some of us that, are hobbyists and kind of competitors. But talk to me about some of your kind of highlights for jiu-jitsu. I know you've got the half guard thing going on at the moment. But obviously you're known for footlocks. Talk to me a bit more.
So about my jiu-jitsu game.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's three things I really like to do. I like guillotines, I like footlocks, and I like half guard. Um, Footlocks I learned when I was a blue belt. My coach is very well known for his footlocks. And when I was training in Brazil with him, never really picked it up. But then he came for a seminar to the Netherlands, and there he showed his whole footlock game. And since then, I've been doing a lot of footlocks. This was a blue belt, and eventually people started figuring it out a little bit. So they started hiding their feet. That's when I added the guillotine to my game. So I had a little bit more complete arsenal. And then eventually at brown belt, I injured my toe once, so I couldn't play my normal open guard. I started playing half guard, and that's become a real staple. I managed to use a few of my favorite moves in the last match at KAIROS as well. So those are my main moves. Of course, I try to implement new things in my game every day, but those are really my staples.
And it's really great to be able to hear that, and a pro athlete like yourself, has, of course, you're going to have your game, but the fact that you're learning and developing all the time, that concept of development never ever stops, which is kind of the joy of jiu-jitsu, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very cool. Jiu-jitsu is never ending. Like every day, there's new things I can learn, and that's what keeps it fun for so long. That's how I can do it for almost 15 years now, and I still not get bored. Every day, there's a new challenge to tackle, new moves to counter, and it keeps it fun. And for me as well, as not just as an athlete, but also as a coach, I feel it's my responsibility to keep up to date with all the new developments. Also for my students, so they don't get caught by surprise. So as your coach, I think it's your responsibility, even if you have your set game, to still keep looking forward and see what's happening in the big scene.
Hunting techniques rather than submissions, maybe, if you're a coach.
Yeah, or also submissions, positions, everything.
Always hunting submissions.
Always hunting.
It sounds fun, actually. So you've got the guillotine and you've got the footlock. So you're kind of topping and tailing the whole game, really.
Yeah. I think it's very important. I teach all my students this, to have attacks on the upper body and on the lower body. Whenever somebody defends the upper body, lower body becomes available. Whenever you attack the lower body, usually the upper body becomes available. So it doesn't really matter which ones, depending on the body type. Maybe you do a Kimura and a knee bar, or a footlock and a guillotine like me, or a heel hook and a triangle. But always having that upper body, lower body offensive combination is very strong.
That's nice. I like the idea of fighting from one to the other. If it's kind of not working, then you're literally going to attack the top of the body if the kind of legs aren't available. It's a good tactic.
Exactly. They're always leaving something behind.
I'm going to keep an eye out for that now, Daniel. You've given me some good tips. I've still got to work at the footlock technique, being a blue belt. So
is it working for you a bit?
A little, but being a dancer, then my ankles and feet are quite flexible, so no one's having my feet for any footlocks.
Yeah, that's the thing with food. So sometimes you'll meet people that are so freakishly flexible. Like Tommy, who I fought last time, he has extremely flexible feet. Very hard to tap him.
Yeah. Okay, talk to me about the last KAIROS fight with Tommy, because it was a fantastic event.
Yeah, it was very cool. So we had to do the coin flip. I practiced a lot. I was trying to get it to go to Nogi, but unfortunately I couldn't flip the coin myself. And it became a gi match.
I love the fact that you were practicing the coin flip, not
Yeah,
really
yeah. I think there was
realizing.
if I have one complaint about KAIROS is that we can do the coin flip ourselves, but other than that, it was a great event. No,
I
it was a gi match. So we had to put our gi on, and we just went out there, scrapped a lot, and
Yeah,
actually it was quite an exciting match. I think a problem with some gi matches you'll see sometimes is that they
yeah,
can get very boring. People get stuck, but I
yeah.
think me and Tommy both were attacking the whole time, and we managed to make it a fun, exciting fight to watch.
Yeah, it's nice. I've realized since training Nogi that the kind of flow and the flexibility you can just bring back across rather than kind of get stuck in gi.
Yeah,
There's lots of learning backwards and forwards across gi and no-gi. But
definitely.
obviously your preference being,
I train mainly Nogi. I like both. I like gi a lot as well, but most of the
yeah,
competitions I focus on is more in the Nogi scene.
yeah. I think I probably asked this last time, Daniel, but what is it about the no-gi that is so inspirational and kind of keeps you training?
Ooh, good question. Um, for me, I think it's just I always was a little bit better at it. When I started winning some bigger competitions, it was mainly Nogi, and at black belt, I really wanted to focus on one thing, just to get really good at one thing instead of
Yeah,
dividing my energy over gi, no gi, and then of course running the gym, teaching the business, all that part.
yeah.
So I decided to focus more on the no gi part, where I feel I can go further instead of just splitting my attention.
Yeah, nice. So you're running Haven BJJ over in the Netherlands. Talk to me a bit about what that involves for you on a daily basis.
Uh, Training hard in the morning. So yeah, usually we start with a competition class. That's where I train with most of the coaches, and we try to set a good example of hard work and training hard, and also stay up to date ourselves. Then administration, finances, marketing, emails, partnerships with other businesses, all that stuff. And then in the evening, it's teaching. So I'll teach a geek class, a no geek class, and once a week I'll teach the introduction course, bringing people that don't know any jiu-jitsu into the sport
Yeah,
and teaching them the basics.
nice. And how important is it to you for you to have a team around you to support you with this?
Extremely important, extremely important. Luckily, I have a really good team. We have Dennis Savage, who's coaching a lot of the classes, also helping me out a lot with the members, all that kind of stuff. And we have a really nice group of athletes that show up every day, train really hard. We all know each other's games quite well, so
Yeah,
like we're constantly getting deeper and deeper into the battles every day. We have to find a new solution for the problem we just encountered yesterday, and they find a new solution. So we really keep building onto that, and
yeah,
I think the fruits are going to be visible very soon.
nice, nice. So I find it really interesting that you're starting the day with a competition class. Now, I've experienced most kind of competition training on a Friday night, but actually starting at the beginning of the day using all of your kind of fresh energy on competition training sounds quite exciting.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we want to simulate a competition because usually your matches are during the daytime. So that's one part, and it's just the time of the day where the match space is free for everybody to
Yeah,
that is focused on jiu-jitsu, that are like pro jiu-jitsu athletes, full-time jiu-jitsu athletes to train hard with each other.
yeah,
And that's what we try to get in that competition class, to make it a real professional environment where everybody's working hard and putting that fresh energy of the day into that 2 hour class
yeah, nice. 2 hours, fresh to the mats, competition every morning.
every morning, Monday through Friday. Yeah.
Good, good. That sounds incredibly exciting. And I want to, in a moment, ask you about your competition training specifically for the upcoming Europeans and the KAIROS 3 event. This is the KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK, interviewing all of the pro athletes and other competitors taking part in KAIROS 3 on Sunday, November the 16th, up at Escapology BJJ in Cambridge. Today, I'm having a conversation with Daniël de Groot. Daniel, so let's talk about your competition preparation for the Europeans and then on to KAIROS 3.
Let's do it. Yeah, so my competition classes, they will depend a lot. We periodize our competition trainings. So 1 week we'll have a more high intensity week, and the other week we'll have a little bit lower intensity, just so we're pushing our bodies to their and beyond their limits. But we also have enough time to rest and don't break down over a long time. Because what we see a lot is that. Sorry, that's my dog. I'll catch you.
Podcast episodes always do really well when pets are involved.
Sorry about that. So what we see a lot is that it's very easy to do 1 week of hard training, or maybe even a month, or maybe even a year.
Yeah.
But if you train too hard for too long, it's not something you can do for a long time. So we really try to work with the long run in our heads. We want to build black belt world champions, not just beat people at local tournaments. So we periodize our training sessions, so we can push our limits, but we can also keep doing this for a very long time.
Nice.
So depending on that, we'll do usually 30 minutes of drilling, just studying whatever techniques we're working on, then applying that. Then we'll do some form of specific or situational sparring, and then some form of free sparring. And depending on the intensity of the week and the day, we'll do a little bit more sparring, or a little bit less sparring.
Nice. I like that. Now, you've got the Europeans coming up. What are you kind of preparing yourself for? Do you have lots of matches? Are the brackets out yet, or is this still slightly unknown?
It's still slightly unknown. Last year, I got a bronze medal. I was beaten in the semifinals by the eventual champion, and I think that's the one match that's most likely gonna happen against Junior Ocasio. It was a very close match. I lost by an advantage. So I've been, of course, studying that match again, and I think I found some things I could do better this time around. I've been working a lot on those things, so hopefully this time I do manage to beat them and hopefully get that gold medal.
That's fantastic. Now, just thinking about competing, do you focus on as well as your own game, the competitors that you've got coming up, study their game, and if you've had a match with them before, like you say, studying the video footage, how useful is that? And in a competition like the Europeans, or even in KAIROS, because you're going to be up against a number of other under 66 kg guys, would you change up your game depending on who you're fighting?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, like we talked about, I have a few moves I like to do. So depending on the weaknesses of the opponents, or maybe even the strength of the opponents, I want to always avoid their strength and go into their weaknesses. I'll decide which part of my game is the best fit for that opponent. So I do like to watch a little bit of my opponents. Luckily, Dennis Savage helps me a lot with this. He's been leading the camp as well. So he'll point me towards the weaknesses and the strength of all the athletes in the bracket, and then we'll adjust the game plan to that. So I think it's very important, especially at black belt. Once you get to that higher level, there's almost always some footage of your opponents. At white belt, blue belt, it's a little bit harder. You never know who you're gonna go up against. Somebody might look really good going against other white belts, but then once you go with them, it's not so good. But if you go to that higher level, there is a lot of useful footage you can watch and study.
Nice. Now, in terms of studying, do you document? Do you write down kind of tactics for each game? How do you recall and kind of work up your game for each potential opponent?
Yeah, so what we did in my last competition, for example, Dennis was studying all the opponents, making notes of all their matches. But we also summarize it into a small file where we just have 2 or 3 main notes for each opponent. So right before the match, depending on how the bracket is drawn, right, we can watch. Okay, this guy likes to do these kind of attacks, and he's vulnerable to attacks from this side, for example. And it's more like a, I don't know how you call this in English, but like a cheating note you use at tests.
Yeah. So we won't be checking your palms to see whether you've actually written notes on KAIROS 3. But if we spot anything, Daniel, we'll know what it is.
Yeah, definitely that. The weaknesses of the opponent. If they have any.
Yeah, I don't really recall writing notes all the way up my arm because we had long sleeves. So if you're in the gi, you're okay. But obviously,
I'll
if
just
you're
write it on the inside of the skirt. Hopefully this time it's gi then. I'll practice my coin flip the other way around.
I love that. Do you have any advice for anyone preparing for some of the bigger competitions that we're talking about?
Let's see. I think first it's important to pick your weight division. You don't want to be too light. You don't want to be too heavy. So if you're going to a big competition, plan ahead. If you're young, don't cut too much weight. I'd always say don't cut more than 3 or 4 kilos. Depending on the level, you can go a little bit further, but pick your weight division, stick to it, follow the plan. So you're as heavy as possible for that weight division. I think that's important. And the main advice I always give my guys is just train a lot. And if you're training too much, we'll be there, we'll tell you. But this is not a conversation we often have to have. The conversation is more, where were you yesterday? Why did you show up late today? Those kind of things.
I'd love to know what training too much is. I know most of us have other responsibilities and commitments in life, but you know, are we talking 2 or 3 times a day too much? Or okay.
2-3 times a day, and it of course also depends on your intensity. If you're just drilling for an hour, you can do a lot more. But if you're training hard 2-3 times a day, and not taking plenty of rest, not taking care of your body, you're gonna feel it. And this is the moment where you'll get injured. This is the moment where you'll feel a little bit lethargic. You don't want to go to training anymore. So it's like I said, it's important to keep that balance. This is something you can do for a while, but this is not a there goes the dog. But it's not a solid long-term strategy. If you want to get good at jiu-jitsu, if you want to win titles at the highest level, you need to be able to do it for a long time. So we do have to be careful of overtraining of like a handful of our athletes. But like 98% of our members, just from purely jiu-jitsu perspective, could be training more to get better results now. Like you said, everybody has their own responsibilities, jobs, families, school. But purely jiu-jitsu point of view, the more training, the better for most people.
Yeah, I think all of us want to be training jiu-jitsu. Now we found it for as long as possible, and probably, you know, it's one of our main passions, as well as, you know, some of the strength and conditioning work and whatever else. But we're going to be doing this for many, many years. But equally, appreciating the energy and enthusiasm that comes from fresh white belts and maybe kind of towards and into the blue belt range. We can kind of immerse ourselves and want to take part in all the classes, all the seminars, and everything else that's going on. But what is some good advice to kind of be able to listen and notice when we've done too much?
I think just getting to know your body. I think it's important to find out where that limit is. And for a lot of people, that limit is a lot further than they think. What really helps our students is every year we'll do a preparation camp for the Europeans. So we'll have my coach coming from Brazil. We'll have some of the top athletes. This year we'll have Enzo, who won double gold at last year's Europeans in purple belt. We have a lot of high level people coming through, and we're training twice a day, and everybody's doing this. So those are the moments where you really get to know your body, you get to know your limits, and then you have like a point of reference. So next time you feel that tired, you know, okay, now maybe I'll have to do a step back. But to be honest, again, most people that have jobs, that have school, that have families, they'll never get to that level of tiredness unless it's a specific training camp where they take off from work and they focus everything on jiu-jitsu. So for most people listening, I think the advice would always be to, if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, train more. Once you're training twice a day, every day, now you can start maybe playing with your intensity and maybe taking a little bit more rest, training a little bit more smart. But if you're not training twice a day, don't worry too much about overtraining.
Nice. I like that idea. It feels quite inspirational to maybe start to engage in maybe 1 or 2 more classes a week, even if we can't get to the 2 classes a day yet. I do feel like all of us will have an opportunity in our lifetime to immerse ourselves in, and kind of indulge in 2 classes a day or 2 training sessions a day. But until that point, just try and do another couple of classes a week. See how it
Yeah.
goes. I
And
think
it
it's good.
changes your view of jiu-jitsu as well, because when you're training once a day, a few times a week, it's a hobby. It's very fun. You're always looking forward to your next class.
Yeah.
But this week, for example, I can tell you, the people that were all week, they were not looking forward to the training today. At that point, it's just a job. You have to show up. You're tired. You don't want to train anymore.
Yeah.
You have all kinds of small aches, but that's I think the difference between a recreational practitioner and a professional. And of course,
Yeah.
it's still fun. It's still a really cool thing to do, but you're not gonna enjoy the session as much as somebody that trains recreationally and trains 2, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So it really changes your relationship with jiu-jitsu as well if you train a lot.
Nice. I hope for the day to be training more and more jiu-jitsu. Daniel, let's talk about KAIROS 3 and your preparation kind of post-Europeans and, how excited you're kind of feeling on the build-up for the middle of November.
Yeah, I can't wait. I feel like I'm defending my title. Last time they set it up with the match with Tommy and me, so I'm gonna come out there and stay hungry and don't let anybody take that 2.5 thousand pounds off me. Yeah, after Europeans, I'll put on the gi a lot more. Nogi camp is mainly Nogi Europeans camp is mainly Nogi. But as soon as that's over, I'll put the gi on and get ready for whatever way the coin flips. And yeah, just stay in camp, stay sharp, and yeah, get ready.
Amazing. Well, I really look forward to be able to meet you in person again, Daniel, because I'm going to be there at Escapology BJJ the
Oh,
whole
nice.
weekend
Very good.
with the kids, which will be incredibly exciting.
Perfect.
And yeah, I'm going to look forward to putting my gi on because it's already getting cold here in the UK.
You as well. We're not much better off, I think.
Amazing. Well, best of luck for Europeans, and I wish you all the luck to kind of maintain your title and walk away with the 2.5 thousand.
That's what I'll do all my effort for. Thanks a lot, Lou. Good to speak to you again.
You are welcome. Thank you for listening and watching to the KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu podcast. As always, go and check out the clips over on Instagram and YouTube. And thank you again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of the KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu podcast, season 3.